everybody. I'm so excited to go over this trailer with you. The more I watch it, the more I like it. And I liked it a pretty good amount when I first saw it. I just don't like the 7 dwarves. But maybe they'll grow on me. And as I got my notes together to do this breakdown, I was particularly impressed with the respect for the original 1937 film. So we're going to have a really good time going over this. For those of you new to the live breakdowns, the way they work is that essentially, let me cook while I break the trailer down. I will keep an eye on your comments. But then at the end of the stream, we'll do a brief Q&A. And we're going to do the Agatha All Along new trailer actually at 2:15 because I need a little bit of time to prepare my notes and the graphics for that breakdown. Before the Marvel animation presentation at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, and I heard at least one trailer will be released. And most of you have guessed the one that I've heard. But I can't confirm anything. I don't know for sure. But, so far my sources have done a very good job with this D23 Expo. All right, so yes, D23, day 2. What a party it was yesterday. And I think that Snow White, in many ways, was the fairest of them all last night. Thank you, iReady. Certainly getting a lot of attention. All right, so that's the beautiful poster. And we have just so much good stuff to discuss here. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about, by the way, I wore this shirt. I'll change my shirt for later. I don't want to wear the same shirt all day because I'm making so many videos. But I picked this shirt out and I was like, this will really match the Snow White vibe. But then I was like, it also matches Agatha. And that's what made me tweet earlier that I think that they might have skewed a little female and family friendly last night with the publicly released trailers. And if they had released Tron and Daredevil to the public, I think maybe it would have been a little bit more balanced, especially because Bob Iger has worked so hard to try to appeal, to have broader appeal. He's noticed that Disney in the past has had a hard time with, the 18 to 34 male demographic, which is key to Hollywood. And that's one of the reasons he purchased Marvel and Star Wars. And then he didn't do anything with them really last night. All right, so anyway, let's go through this. Now, I love this first frame. Even when you look at the poster, okay, I think you can really see the influence of Mr. Thomas Kinkade. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Thomas Kinkade. For a while there, he was very big. He unfortunately did pass away. But he's an artist that Disney had commissioned to do a number of artworks for them. He sometimes used to have stores. I remember growing up, he had a store in the mall when I used to go out to New Jersey. I still go out to New Jersey, but at New Jersey there was a whole Thomas Kinkade store. They sell a lot of puzzles with his artwork. That's right, Elliot. Elliot has a ton of Disney Thomas Kinkade puzzles. I picked both of these images not only because you can see Snow White's cottage, which basically, I think they're both based off of the animated movie, but that picture there on the right could be a painting of what you're looking at. So it's really incredible. I think Thomas Kinkade must be a reference. But usually Thomas Kinkade portraits have a little more warmth to them, which is why I included the one with the diamond mine on the left. Because I think that this is a very warm trailer. I've told you before that wedding cake musicals are extremely popular. That's why people liked, I think, Cinderella, the live action Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast so much because they had that wedding cake feel. I'd also say it's a little Christmassy, just extremely ornate and lavish. And I think that this movie has really done a good job leaning into that. And I'm surprised that Mr. Mark Webb isn't getting more attention for directing this picture. Mark Webb, that's right, he did the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies back in the day with Andrew Garfield. And he has not worked very much since. He's done a couple of things, but this is his big, hopefully comeback film. And I think he's doing a tremendous job, him and his whole team. I think the attention to detail, I think the attention to the 1937 original, I think the attention to artistry and fandom is extremely impressive. And I'm surprised that they're not putting him out there. You know, they're having Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot go and do all the press, and you're like, what about poor Mark Webb? Why can't Mark Webb go out there? Because I think he's just doing such an incredible job. All right, the other thing I want to mention before we start the trailer is that over the opening of the trailer here, at the very end, you hear Rachel Zegler doing humming a couple of bars from the famous, Snow White soundtrack. And it has a haunting, surreal quality to it, but it's still very beautiful. And it reminds me very much of Lana Del Rey's Once Upon a Dream, my favorite Disney animated song, that they did so well that I think really substantially helped the first Maleficent movie. So again, Mark Webb is a student of the space, and I'm very, very impressed. Lana Del Rey is very one-note morphed, but I gotta say, I like the one note. Okay, so let's go with this trailer. Let's get started. Okay, here we go. So there you can see Rachel Zegler coming in there with that deer. That deer is adorable. Oh, look at it turn around. So the important thing is that I think that this deer is interesting because usually for these things, like take the Lion King, the animated Lion King and Mufasa that's coming out, that looks very photoreal. But this deer looks half like a real deer, half like an animated deer. It still has a cartoonish, stuffed animal, fantasy quality to it. And I think that's a great choice. So I think that's excellent. Also, I made a joke in my live action trailer reaction. Don't get Lyme disease, Snow White. She's literally standing next to a deer, and she's deep in the woods. I think that's, be careful, people. Don't do what Snow White does. All right. So hold on. We got more fun stuff coming. We've only just begun. So Disney invites you. I love her dress, by the way. Now, this is really important. So they're showing the craftsmanship of the Seven Dwarves home. And that is right out of the original movie. These guys are whittlers. And in fact, that staircase is the exact same staircase from the original. You can see the owl eyes on not only the staircase here. Where's my arrow? Okay, so you see the owl eyes. Woo, look at the bunny. I love bunnies. So here's the staircase, and then here, you can see it here. Sorry, my arrow's not above the photo. Oh, go find it. Okay, and there it is here on the staircase. So that's really impressive. I love that level of detail too, Byron. And these are craftsmen, the Seven Dwarves. They work really hard during the day in the diamond mine, then they come home and they whittle their home. They made this home. And I think that craftsmanship, also it's a German fairy tale, and I think you can see a little bit of that, yodel, hey hoo, it's very nice. I like it. All right. So moving along, I got so many images to pick from here. All right. So here come the dwarves. They're coming home. Now that, of course, is the iconic shot, a little bit differently, but this is probably the most famous shot from the animated movie. There are a lot of famous shots. The first Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the very first animated movie ever made. Walt Disney was proving that shorts could become a feature. And the level of artistry in the film is really impressive. That's why it was so successful. That's why he got not just one Oscar, but 7 Oscars for a special achievement, 1 big Oscar and 7 cute little ones. So it's 8 actually. It was a really big deal. And I think a big part of it was that he also, like Mark Webb, really did his homework. And I think he not only mimicked what was so successful about animated shorts, but also what was so successful and popular with films, live action films at the time. So I think this is really nice. I think this is warmer. The animated one's a little warmer, but it's still very, very pretty. All right, so you see Dopey do a little hop there. Look at him go. Oh, he's adorable. He looks a little Russian there. All right, so here we go. I think her dress is stunning. I think that's really beautiful. I mean, it's just hello taffeta. I think it's gorgeous. And I also have to say that I think that Rachel Zegler's voice is the best I've heard in a Disney movie since Julie Andrews singing Mary Poppins. And that's high praise. I know that Rachel Zegler, I think Rachel Zegler was thrust into the mainstream media a little bit too quickly and didn't get any media training. And I think she was still very much speaking to her core fandom. And I think she wasn't trained in how to speak to general audiences. It's a skill. And I hope that just like other, Kamala Harris has adjusted and done a wonderful job. I mean, now she's just really doing an amazing campaign job. And I think, I think everybody, I myself, I think everybody needs to learn and pay attention, look, be aware, you don't have to address them, but you can be aware of notes and feedback and just try to, move forward. You can't go backward. So move forward and, just to adjust. And, there's no scandal, I would say, Big Witch. She said some comments about how, old-fashioned fairy tales maybe. And I actually am going to make a comment in a moment. And I'm intentionally doing it. You're going to see. But I don't think people should hold it against her. I think she felt she was preaching to the choir. And I think with her distinct fandom, she was. But I just don't think she was aware of what it was like to speak to a bigger group. And I just feel I wouldn't hold it against her. I think she's a talented actress, and I liked her in Hunger Games, and I liked her very much in West Side Story. And I think her voice is incredible. And she looks amazing. Okay. I liked her in Shazam too as well. She's had some bad luck in movies, boy. All right. Now, what's interesting to me, though, so hold on. So she's going to dance a little more with these dwarves. So she's dancing with the dwarves. And I got to say, okay. Now, on the one hand, this is right out of the movie. Snow White loved to dance with those dwarves. She loved it. And it's a very famous scene. It's in the ride to this day. It's in the attractions. Really big deal. However, Cinderella, of course, also would wake up in the morning and talk to birds and mice. Now, I don't know if you saw me recently discussing it. Rippy, I did see the leaked sequence, which is an extended version of this. And it did seem like Snow White was maybe like either an LSD or lost her mind a little bit. Because you're like, what are you doing? Like, it's, I have to say, I think her hand movements, I think she's giving off Disney princess, like she's radiating it like you wouldn't believe. But, I had to stop watching Cinderella. And I love Cinderella, but I can't watch it anymore because I think that Cinderella seems like she's gone nuts up in that tower room. It's problematic for me. And when I watch Snow White here, dancing around with these weird, like, uncanny valley dwarves, like nothing's wrong. And she's like, let's sing a song about dancing and cleaning up the house. And you're like, what? She's like, I sure love doing this. And you're like, and then she's hanging out with all these animals and stuff. And you're like, this is really weird. Yeah, it does seem like Snow White's LSD adventure. I think that it's hard to balance it, so I think I'll be curious to see what they come up with. But right now, it's a little weird. Okay. And I think it still looks weird, no matter what changes they might be making. All right, so she's having a great time. All right, so there we go. And look at that. I have to say, you know what? Look at that. Hold on. I love that. Look at that. I mean, I think my theory might seem very true there. But she looks beautiful. She looks really beautiful. She looks very, Snow White is supposed to be very innocent and pure. And I think that Rachel Zegler is really, really radiating that. And I think, Disney has done a very nice job, in my opinion, casting their live-action Disney princesses. They've all very much represented, that ideal. Halle, I think Halle Bailey was really very much like that as Ariel. I think Emma Watson, Beauty and the Beast. I'm blanking on the name. Naomi. What's the name? From Aladdin. Great choice as well for Jasmine. Lily James. Oh, Naomi Scott. Thank you. Lily James, not as much, to be honest with you. And I think that's one of the reasons Cinderella didn't hit quite the same. But yeah, I think Rachel Zegler is really giving off Disney princess. And I love it. I think it looks great. She's high on fantasy. That's right, Adrian. She's high on fantasy. All right. Oh, but look at this part of town. Oh, it's dreary. It's dreary in the castle because the queen is a horrible ruler. All right. So, by the way, this is the wishing well, and she sings in a really famous song into the wishing well. Ah, damn it, I missed it again. Give me a second. You know, there's an echo in the well. It's a very famous sequence from the original movie. Here, I'll show you a picture. Where'd it go? There we go. There's the original wishing well. A little bit brighter, but I think they're trying to underscore how dreary the actual kingdom is under the rule of the evil queen. But yeah, that's right out of the movie. Very famous sequence, really beautiful song, and I think this should be quite nice. And you can see that with Rachel Zegler. They have, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. Okay, okay, hold on. So there, she's finding her happiness, even though clearly she has a tough time. All right. So there's the evil queen. Ooh, the Quicken Ween. You would know that if you'd seen the original Snow White. It's the Quicken Ween, the Wicked Queen. It's from the ride. It's very famous. All right, so I think that Gal Gadot looks pretty great. I mean, they haven't shown a lot of her acting because it's probably awful, but that's okay. All right, so here she is, and there she is putting on the crown. Oh, she looks amazing. Now, I've seen a lot of comments about how on earth would this evil queen be jealous of Snow White. Well, first of all, that's not very nice to Rachel Zegler, who I do think looks very pretty here. I mean, obviously, one of them is glam and one of them isn't glam, and that's the whole point between the two characters. One is innocent and fresh, and the other is, high diva. So I think it's fine. All right? Now, it's also important to understand that even in the animated movie, the evil queen was gorgeous. So the evil queen, look, by the way, you can notice the peacock theming in the animated movie because that's what was most important to the evil queen, preening like a peacock. But she was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And there's Snow White from the animated movie. And I want to point out that Snow White, that version of the character at that time period was the ideal. So I want to give you, that's right, classic movies. Thank you very much. So classic movies, the original Snow White came out in 1937. So this is Claudette Colbert, who was like one of the biggest stars of the time. She starred in It Happened One Night with Clark Gable. Huge hit, won a ton of Oscars. One of the first, if not the first, romantic comedies. Really, really big deal. And I believe that Snow White was modeled after her to a degree. Also, Jean Harlow. Oh, no, wait, that's Marlene Dietrich. Damn it, it's out of order. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow also was a very famous ingenue at the time. So I think that Snow White is very much modeled after those two actresses. Now, as for the evil queen, this is Greta Garbo, who is, I'm sure many of you have heard that name, very famous Swedish actress at the time. And you can see similar styling to the evil queen. It was very popular, as you can see at that time, to draw your eyebrows on. I mean, they're clearly drawn on. But at that time period, women would shave off their eyebrows and draw in these ridiculous lines that you can clearly see are not real. I can't believe that anybody ever thought that was a good idea. But that's what they did. All right? It was the land of penciled in eyebrows and high cheekbones. So there's Greta Garbo, and then also Marlene Dietrich. Very famous Marlene Dietrich, one of the first not only scream sirens, but also she was pretty openly bisexual, certainly for the time period. And, very, very famous actress. These very famous actresses. And I think that these versions of these stars, Walt intentionally, and you can even see that to Disney today. Disney princesses very much mimic what is considered ideal in Hollywood in live action. All right, so I just wanted to bring that up because the conversation about Gal Gadot versus Rachel Zegler was bothering me a little bit. Oh, that's right, Justin. Joan Crawford as well. But I don't think Joan Crawford, I guess the evil queen is kind of giving Joan Crawford. But Joan Crawford, I think she was pretty famous in the 1930s, but I think she was more famous when she got a little bit older in the 1940s. In fact, Joan Crawford, if you're familiar with her, I love classic Hollywood. Joan Crawford was considered box office poison for a little bit, and Mildred Pierce in the 1940s was actually her comeback movie. I think it was the 1940s. Might even be 1950, Mildred Pierce. But she was having a very difficult time. All right. Guadalupe points out, finally, it's ridiculous how so many people don't realize that the evil queen always hated Snow White, even if she was prettier than her. Yeah, I think a lot of it, and one of the nicest things about the Snow White film, is that it really talked a lot about not the whole package. That it's not just looks, and that's something that that the evil queen didn't understand. It was also your personality and your kindness. It was your beauty inside and out. And the evil queen might have been just a drop-dead gorgeous stunner, but she was so evil and decrepit inside. In many ways, the wicked queen, which she turns into, is her true self. That it negated it, but yet Snow White was made even more beautiful from her inner beauty. But also, I want to point out, because of the time period and stuff, Snow White was also considered very beautiful herself. It's very important. Okay. All right. Where did my mouse go? There it is. All right. All right. Brief history lesson. All right. So we continue the trailer. Oh, look at that, though. Oh, you gotta love the mirror. Oh, that's incredible. I mean, the flames should technically be green because they were in the animated movie, but I guess they don't want to copy Maleficent, which I would understand, actually, because Maleficent was all about green fire. So I'm impressed. I just think that looks amazing. So she's like, who's the so there's a couple of quick things. By the way, I don't know if they can top the Indiana Jones mine sequence, action sequence from Temple of Doom. I recently rewatched that with you guys, like maybe in the last year. That holds up. But they're going to try, but there's clearly going to be some kind of action sequence in the mines. I hope there's lots of, oh, by the way, to obviously play off of the roller coaster. I didn't even think of that. I wish I had a picture of the roller coaster loaded up. To play off of the current roller coaster, which is so successful. I actually don't like that ride. I think it's too short. They didn't have enough space in Fantasyland to build a roller coaster in the middle, and so it's a very short attraction. But it's very popular. But yeah, clearly it's to do the mine train. But I hope it's good. All right, so look at her. She at least she's having fun, right? I mean, even if Gal Gadot's not a great actress, at least she's having a good time. So she's asking, who's the fairest one at all? That smile is going to disappear from her face in just a second. Because clearly, every time she asks, she gets the same answer. But this time, it is not going to be the answer she's used to. So by the way, I heard my source told me, hold on. My source told me that what Gal Gadot's doing with her hands is really cool. Like, it really works. So that's great. Do some hand acting. Anything to distract from her head. The horrible words that are coming out of it. But I heard that Gal Gadot was doing really good hand acting. And you're going to see that at the end when she's handing the apple to Snow White. So I think I'm excited. I mean, she's got these beautiful long nails. She has these gorgeous jewels on. I think it's a cool idea. All right. So look, there's Snow White picking apples even there. She's an apple eater. Of course, in the animated movie, the original animated movie, she's making a pie. All right. So that's not the greatest shot of Rachel Zegler, I'll agree. It always amazes me when the makeup and hair team don't look at the video tap on set and go, do-over! They're like, quick, Rachel, say a swear word. It's a trick of actors to say swear words on camera. You might think they all just have potty mouths or are having a good time. But the reason that actors swear is that makes the footage unusable. So if an actor doesn't like a take, they will swear a blue streak to make sure that you can't use it. That's what, I don't know if that would be as possible to do today because swearing is more usable, but certainly not in a movie like this. So I'd be like, curse a blue streak, Rachel, because we got to come in here and fix your hair and makeup a little bit. So yeah. So I do feel that's an unfortunate shot, but it's like the only bad shot in the movie, and I feel bad that people are using it because she looks so beautiful in every other shot. So look at that. Oh, okay, all right. So this is amazing. You don't understand how great this is. So not only is the evil queen twirling down the staircase, but get ready. I'm so glad I found the GIF, or GIF, whatever you pronounce it. That's actually from the animated movie. It's the exact shot. It's the exact shot. It's a famous shot. The fact that Walt Disney did that in animation is incredible. And it's kind of still animated now, because that's surely a CGI cape. But it's really a neat idea that they did that. It's really cool to do that to the, I'm glad a lot of you recognized it as well. Like Jonathan noticed it, Mish did. I mean, it's just very cool. All right, so continuing on. She's like, I'll do it myself, God damn it. But I'm sure that this staff is like the secrets to her powers. I mean, how many times have we seen this in a movie? I'm sure if you shatter the end of the staff, she breaks the spell or something like that. Maybe they'll do that instead of a kiss. Right? Because Rachel Zegler was talking about that. I don't know. The kiss never bothered me in Snow White, you know. I mean, it's a very innocent, chaste kiss. I think, Frozen and Maleficent, of course, have talked about can you really be the kiss of true love when you just met? That to me makes a little bit more sense. But anyway, I don't know. It seems a little cliche to me. But let's see. Let's see what's going on with it. So there's the apple. Oh, don't eat that. It's been dipped in poison. That's pretty cool. It looks bobbing for apples takes on a new term. So there's the prince. There's the prince. Okay, so who is this guy? This is Andrew Burnap, who I do believe, let me see here. I want to be careful before he's great casting. I'm a big fan of Andrew Burnap, and I'll explain to you why in a moment. He's not even on the Wikipedia page. Oh, there he is. Yes, he is. Yes, Andrew Burnap is sexually fluid. That's how he describes it. He is. It's a very forward-thinking casting for the prince. However, I have to say to you that I saw Andrew Burnap at Lincoln Center in Camelot. Where's the picture? There it is. He was in Camelot. He's incredible. I remember when I was watching him, before I knew very much about him, I didn't even know he was in Snow White when I went to see Camelot. I went to see it because Aaron Sorkin rewrote the script. It was an incredible production, and it's great cast, as you can see, and he was so good. He is an incredible actor. He's great with his spoken lines, but also his singing. Like, you think Rachel Zegler is good? So is Andrew Burnap. They found an actor who can match her in terms of quality of singing. So the singing on this he's a Tony. He won the Tony, Michael? That's fantastic. He's extremely talented. Very, very talented. The songs in this, and also, didn't the people who did Greatest Showman, didn't they write some new music for this? I mean, I think it's going to be really, really strong. Lisa, I don't think the prince is gender fluid. I mean, I haven't seen the movie. The actor is gender fluid. And I think it's really wonderful that Disney cast him in the role. And I'm very excited to see the work that is done here. Very, very strong performer. All right, so hold on. So look at this. So this is also very iconic with the trees. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, again, with the original movie, very famous sequence where she's running through the woods in the night, and she, it's supposed to be, does she imagine it? Does she not imagine it? And, it seems like the trees are reaching for her and terrorizing her. Very, very impressive. It was an amazing sequence when it was originally done, and I'm very impressed to not only see an homage to it, but to see it also continue to be done very well. Like, really, Mark Webb didn't need to go this hard, but I'm glad that he did, because I think that the live-action adaptations really need this. All right. So look at that. I think that's an incredible shot. That's an amazing shot. You know, she's had a rough night. You can see her hair is wet from the dew and the sweat of running around in the forest. And she just looks stunning. I just really, really love this shot. I think it's really, really strong. And then she sees, is it evil? Is it evil? No, it's the deer. It's the deer. And she shows it kindness. You know, it's showing what truly makes Snow White beautiful. And she reaches out. I like this shot very much as well. I think the lighting is gorgeous. It almost looks theatrical in many ways. You know, a really, really nice. It's supposed to be the moonlight, and it does look like the moonlight, but it's very, very strong. And so you can see as she shows her loving kindness, the world gets warmer. Isn't that beautiful? I think that's a message we all need to hear right now. And the forest becomes a nicer place to be. And you hear those, the Lana Del Rey-esque coming. Now there, of course, is the apple. Oh, don't eat it, Snow White. But yeah, that's a great shot. I think that the hand for the quick and wean looks great. It looks just like in the animated movie. And I think that really, that's why I think Gal Gadot is doing the strong hand acting, because that's very much a part of the original movie, particularly once the Wicked Queen, because her hands were so gnarled. Like the hand transformation is one of the most iconic parts of that transformation sequence, which, by the way, is iconic. You really should go watch the original Snow White again, because that transformation sequence was incredible. So the hands changed from these very beautiful, elegant hands to these gnarled hands. And it very much was like, what are you doing to yourself? Like, so what? There's another hot chick in town. You know, why don't you try being friends? You know, like, it was crazy that she did that to herself. But that's really a nice shot. It's just really, really fantastic. In theaters, March 2025. March is a good month, spring break month. All right, so that's the trailer. Let me bring up the poster again. All right, so I really love that trailer. I'm so happy that I was able to, I love a movie and I love a trailer where there's a lot for us to discuss. Where it makes me so happy when the filmmakers and the actors do their homework so that I can share that craftsmanship with you. I mean, it just makes it for a better experience for all of us. So that to me is phenomenal. All right, so let's do like a 5-minute Q&A, and then I'll prep Agatha for 2:15. Okay? Where's the Q&A? Where'd it go? There we go. Oh, it's in the wrong place. Oh no! Give me a second. Damn it! I moved everything else. There we go. All right. We'll do till 1:45, so 6 minutes. Does anybody have any questions or comments about Snow White? That's right, Mike Side. It's Mark Webb from The Amazing Spider-Man. Declan says, do you think the Queen will be referred to by her name, Grimhilda? I hope so. I didn't know that was her name. That's a great name. I'm all about Grimhilda. Yes, he says, Grace, the 7 dwarves in this version are magical creatures. I don't know, man. They look like the 7 dwarves. Insomnimat says, how much do you think this needs to make with reshoots? Will it do better than The Little Mermaid? I don't know. I felt bad what happened to The Little Mermaid. I really loved that movie. I had a great time watching The Little Mermaid. I think, obviously considering that they have the budget ballooned to like over $300 million, it really should make $1 billion, as some of the previous animated live action adaptations have done. I believe both Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin made $1 billion. But one of you will have to comment on my trailer reaction, and you pointed out that Rachel Zegler has had problems on social media, and Gal Gadot has as well. Hopefully everybody falls into one camp or the other, and they go and see the movie. To me, the film looks so strong and is giving such good fantasy that I hope people will just go and see it anyway, because it's just so incredible in many ways. But we'll see. We'll see. I think the trailer is not performing great from what I can see online, but maybe it's just because they dropped too many things last night, in the middle of the night. I don't think they should have any more 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time panels. I think that was a mistake. It should have been done in the morning. Let's see here. Noah says, who's your favorite dwarf? I kind of like Doc. I've always kind of liked Doc. Although, of course, everyone likes Dopey. Ethan, Greta Gerwig did work on the original script for this, as August pointed out. But I do believe it's gone through rewrites since then, so it's not totally Greta Gerwig. Aubrey says, just to clarify, I'm a dwarf actor in this industry. Peter is not to blame. His comments came out a month before filming. Disney just did not want to use little people. We should advocate for little people roles in all films. Aubrey, thank you for sharing that. It's so nice to know more about you because you're such a frequent contributor and a very nice, wonderful, valued contributor to the BTT community. I just feel I got to know you a little better. I love it. I'm sorry to hear that, and I think that was a big mistake. I think they should have used little person actors in this movie for sure. Let's see here. Oh, Britt says, saw the trailer on X instead of YouTube. Yeah, I have to say, I think X is really taking some business away, and I think TikTok as well, which is interesting. I don't know why. Well, this was released publicly, so I could play anywhere it wants. I think that the leaks for Daredevil and Tron put me and other YouTubers in a difficult spot because we can't cover it, even though most of you have seen it. Chico says, thoughts on the Evil Queen's witch transformation teaser. I didn't see that. Oh, let's see here. Michael Gavin says, Andrew is my freshman year acting professor in college. Really happy for this success for him. Was he really? How wonderful of him that he's already been paying it forward. Teaching acting as well. What a great guy. I'm very happy for him as well. Leo says a good plot twist would be if you made the dwarves like 7 to 6. No, you can't make tall dwarves. M&V says, how much do you think it will make at the box office? I gotta tell you, I'm seeing right around where Little Mermaid performed, 600 to 700, which with a normal budget would be just fine. But of course, this ballooned because of reshoots. Insomnimat, my favorite Disney princess growing up I've always just really loved Sleeping Beauty. I'm a big Sleeping Beauty fan. I just think that's a gorgeous film. I love the artistry. I love the songs. I love that it has a good balance between the princess and the prince. I love Maleficent. I've just always been a big Sleeping Beauty fan. Isaac McAllister says, so why was Iron Fist season 2 only 10 episodes? Isaac, we're talking about Snow White. We're talking about Snow White. Thanks, Terry. I got like 4 hours of sleep. I'm a little sleepy, but I'll sleep after D23. I should be able to get a good amount of sleep tonight because it's the parks presentation, which shouldn't run over, and then it shouldn't take too long. Kevin, this is a Q&A about the Snow White trailer. Rippy says, will this make more money than Lilo and Stitch? I'm not sure. Lilo and Stitch is really popular, and Stitch, I think, looks fantastic. So I think that Stitch don't underestimate Lilo and Stitch. I mean, we have to see the rest of the movie, but I'm very impressed right away. Sam says, how do you think they will expand the story? Well, we already saw that they added a diamond mine, chase sequence, which I'm excited for. I think hopefully they're going to try and make it a little bit more modern, a little bit more, give Snow White a little more agency, which I would be all for. I'm excited. One of the things I love about the Disney live action remakes is how they expand the original stories. Steven says, it's going to be hard to compete with Charlize's take on the Evil Queen. Do you think there having been many other versions of Snow White could hurt this film? That's a good question, but I think the fact that this is based on the original animated movie, the one that started all animated films, that was just such a big deal, I think that gives this movie an edge. I mean, honestly, it looks so good to me. I mean, look at that poster. That's a very good poster. I think this really captures what is so appealing about Disney fantasy. And even if it has some progressive elements in it, I think it's really smart that the foundation of it is classic fantasy. And that to me is, I think, really, at the end of the day, hopefully what pushes it over the edge. Like, for instance, they only got a really good Little Mermaid poster like this at the end. You know, the Little Mermaid poster, like the last Little Mermaid poster, you know, was the most beautiful. And they started out with ones that were very, stripped down. I think going full fantasy immediately is going to help this film. Mike's side, I think her hair does look good. And I think it's as close as they can get to paying homage to the original. I got to tell you, Snow White never gets any respect. She's like hardly anyone's favorite princess. So I think that gives them some wiggle room. Like there's going to be nobody, I think there's going to be very few Snow White apologists who are, Snow White defenders who are like, how dare you change the original character? So I think that gives them a little bit of space to work here. But yet I still think they're being respectful to it. That's right, Zay. Wedding cake, it's definitely a big old slice of wedding cake. Who doesn't love a big slice of wedding cake? So I think it's fantastic. Mendito says, what are you the most excited to see in this movie? I'm excited to see the world building. I am a big fan, as you know, of Disney. I love Disney fantasy. I love the theme parks. I used to, before I had my mold problem and I lost all my belongings like 10 years ago, I used to have those little they were like Owensky Studios or something. They were like these little things of light, and they were like these little boxes, and they were like a little scene from a Disney movie, and you could turn a switch on, like Owensky Studios or something, and a light would go on, and it would light the little diorama basically, and it was just, I thought it was enchanting, and they've done that in a movie form. So that's what's just so absolutely appealing to me about this. Honey, I've seen that Disney Housewives, Real Housewives of Disney sketch, and it's hilarious. It's just so funny. All right, everybody, I have to get ready on this. I have to get ready on the Agatha one. All right, so 2:15, I'll see you back here in about 25 minutes, and we'll talk Agatha all along. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining me for this. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye.